You won alive because of a planet you've never stood on. Right now, beyond Mars, something enormous is bending space violently. It decides what reaches Earth and what doesn't. Jupiter. A gravitational weapon so massive it outweighs all other planets combined. If it vanished tonight, asteroids would shift, comets would redirect, orbits would destabilize, and Earth would lose its silent guardian. But here's what no one tells you. Jupiter is not choosing to protect you. It's not a hero. It's not a shield placed there for your safety. It's a consequence of physics. A massive body that just happens to be in the right place at the right time. And the same gravity that saves you could just as easily destroy you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Jupiter is both your protector and your greatest threat, and how fragile that balance really is. To understand why Jupiter is both protector and threat, we need to go back, way back. Jupiter was never supposed to exist like this. 4.5 billion years ago, when the Sun was still forming, the solar system was not calm. It was a disk of fire and dust, violent, chaotic, unstable. And in that disk, something began to grow faster than anything else. A core of rock and ice, 10 times the mass of Earth, forming in the cold outer regions. That core changed everything, because once it crossed 10 Earth masses, gravity took over. Gas did not gently settle around it. It collapsed inward, violently. Hydrogen, helium, ammonia, methane, trillions of tons every century, an avalanche of matter that would not stop. In less than 1 million years, Jupiter became a giant, not gradually, not peacefully, but explosively fast. If it had grown just a little more, if it had reached about 80 times its current mass, nuclear fusion would have ignited. Jupiter would have become a second star. Our solar system would have been a binary system. 2 suns, 2 gravitational anchors, 2 radiation sources. And Earth would be in the crossfire. The habitable zone would shift, orbits would destabilize, planet formation in the inner system might never have settled into stability. Earth, as we know it, might not exist. Jupiter stopped just short of becoming a star. It failed. But in cosmic terms, failure can be salvation. That failure is why we are here. But even in failure, it dominates. It contains more than twice the mass of all other planets combined. Its magnetic field is the largest structure in the solar system, so vast that if you could see it from Earth, it would appear larger than the full moon. It rotates in under 10 hours. That rapid spin stretches it, flattens it, feeds storms that dwarf continents. And at its center, something strange is happening. Pressure so extreme that hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, the first atom ever formed, is forced into a metallic state. Liquid metal hydrogen. A substance so exotic we can barely recreate it in laboratories. A form of matter that should not exist. But here, it flows in oceans. Jupiter is not solid. It has no surface to stand on, no boundary where gas becomes ground. If you fell towards it, you would not land. You would descend through clouds of ammonia ice, through crushing pressure that would compact your body to the size of a marble, through temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun, through liquid metallic hydrogen, until the physics itself becomes unfamiliar, until the rules break down, until you simply stop existing as matter. And yet, this unstable, incomplete, almost star is the reason the inner solar system survived long enough for life to begin. But protection has a cost. a cost we've already paid. July 16th, 1994. Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. Jupiter didn't just deflect it, it tore it apart. 21 fragments, each one carrying the energy of millions of nuclear bombs. And for 6 days, we watched them fall into Jupiter's atmosphere, one by one, creating scars larger than Earth itself. The protector became an executioner. But here's what kept astronomers awake. What if Jupiter's gravity had bent that comet's path just slightly differently? What if, instead of falling into Jupiter, those fragments had been redirected toward us? They were. Not in 1994, but 4 billion years ago. Earth was not blue then. It was burning, molten, scarred, relentlessly bombarded. The surface did not resemble continents. It resembled a target. And Jupiter may have been holding the trigger. In the early solar system, countless remnants were left behind. Asteroids, icy bodies, unstable debris. Gravitational interactions between the giant planets, Jupiter and Saturn especially, reshaped everything. When their orbits shifted slightly, a cascade began. Resonances amplified, asteroid belts destabilized, comets were flung inward, toward the inner planets. This period is known as the Late Heavy Bombardment. For 200 million years, Earth was struck. Not occasionally, relentlessly. Hundreds of impacts, each one large enough to boil the oceans. The early Earth did not have bad days, it had bad eons. Impact after impact. Energy releases greater than global nuclear arsenals. Oceans vaporized, crust fractured, atmosphere altered. And the source of that chaos was not random, it was orbital mechanics. Jupiter's gravity does not simply block objects, it rearranges them. When it moves, everything moves. Imagine a wrecking ball swung through a chandelier. Glass shatters, shards fly in every direction, some embed in the walls, others ricochet unpredictably, some straight toward you. Jupiter is that wrecking ball, and we live in the room. Its mass is so immense that it controls the architecture of motion far beyond its immediate orbit. Sometimes it ejects comets out of the solar system entirely, a protective act. Other times it slingshots them inward at even higher velocities. The same gravity that shields can also sharpen the spear. The protective act is not hypothetical. March 23, 1989. Asteroid 1989 FC. Diameter 300 meters. Velocity 70,000 kilometers per hour. It missed Earth by 6 hours. 6 hours. If it had arrived just 1/4 of a day earlier, it would have struck with the force of 2,000 Hiroshima bombs. We didn't see it coming until it had already passed. And here's the disturbing part. Its orbit had been altered decades earlier by Jupiter's gravity. Jupiter didn't protect us that day. It aimed and missed. Barely. This is the paradox. Jupiter is not a guardian angel. It is a loaded gun pointed at the solar system. Sometimes it fires outward. Sometimes it fires inward. We call it a protector because we survived. But survival is not the same as safety. Without Jupiter, the inner solar system might have remained more orderly. With it, we gained protection, but also periodic chaos. Is Jupiter a guardian, or is it the reason Earth had to endure 200 million years of bombardment before life could even begin? Without Jupiter, would Earth have been safer, or would it never have formed at all? We don't know. What we do know is this: Jupiter's orbit is not stable forever. Gravitational interactions with Saturn shift its path over millions of years, slowly, imperceptibly, inevitably. Each shift rearranges the asteroid belt. Each rearrangement sends new objects inward, toward us. The question is not if Jupiter will throw something at Earth again. The question is when, and whether, this time, we'll see it coming. We might not. Because today, right now, the solar system appears stable. Planets follow predictable paths, seasons return, orbits repeat with mathematical precision. Everything seems fine, but appearances in orbital mechanics can be deceiving. This stability is not permanent, it is negotiated. Every second, Jupiter and Saturn pull at each other. Push, pull, balance. A gravitational negotiation that has been ongoing for 4.5 billion years. One wrong move and the deal breaks. Right now, Jupiter and Saturn are locked in a gravitational balance. Their orbital resonance prevents large-scale chaos. Small perturbations still happen, but not enough to destabilize Earth's trajectory. We exist inside a temporary equilibrium, not a fortress, a truce. And truces, in cosmic terms, always expire. Jupiter is central to maintaining it. Its immense gravity acts as a buffer, absorbing some outer solar system instability before it cascades inwards. But gravity is not static. Over billions of years, orbits drift. Not in straight lines, they spiral, wobble, precess. A planet that seems stable today could shift position tomorrow in cosmic terms. And in the solar system, tomorrow is 1,000,000 years from now. Tiny changes accumulate, like cracks in ice, invisible until the surface shatters. Models suggest that planetary systems can appear stable for millions of years, then suddenly shift. Not explosively, but structurally. What if Jupiter's orbit migrated inward? Not by much, just 5%, 50 million kilometers closer to the Sun. In cosmic terms, a nudge. But that nudge would be catastrophic. Gravitational resonances across the asteroid belt would amplify. Thousands of asteroids, stable for 4 billion years, would suddenly destabilize. New trajectories, new collisions, new threats, all aimed inward, at us. The Late Heavy Bombardment could happen again. If Jupiter drifted outward, its protective role could weaken, allowing more long-period comets to enter the inner system. We are stable because the system is balanced. But balance in orbital mechanics is not a guarantee, it is a condition, and conditions change. Jupiter itself is dying, slowly. It is radiating more energy than it receives, cooling, contracting, dimming. The failed star is failing further. In tens of billions of years, it will be cold, dark, inert. A frozen giant drifting through space. The protector will stop protecting. Not because it chooses to, but because it no longer has the energy. And long before Jupiter goes dark, the Sun will. Not dark, bright. Too bright. In 5 billion years, the Sun will expand into a red giant. It will swell, consume Mercury, consume Venus. Earth, if it survives, will be scorched. Oceans boiled away, atmosphere stripped, lifeless. But Jupiter? Jupiter will be fine. It will drift in the new habitable zone, a dead world in a habitable orbit. The irony is perfect. The planet that protected life will outlive it. But even before that, subtle gravitational evolution continues. The solar system is not frozen in perfection, it is evolving. And Jupiter, the failed star, the gravitational architect, the destabilizer, the shield, remains the most influential planetary force after the Sun itself. We often ask, does Jupiter protect us? But that is the wrong question. The real question is, how long? How long will the resonances hold? How long will the orbits remain stable? How long before the negotiation breaks down? We exist in a window, a brief moment in the 4.5 billion year history of the solar system where everything miraculously lines up. The failed star is positioned correctly. The asteroid belt is mostly stable. The inner planets are not being bombarded. This is not the norm. This is an anomaly. We are not living in a safe system. We are living in a lucky one. And luck, in gravitational mechanics, always runs out. But here's the thing. Jupiter's not a hero. Heroes make choices. Jupiter does not choose to protect. It does not intend to shield. It has no awareness, no purpose, no will. It obeys physics, nothing more. Mass, motion, gravity. That's all it is. And yet, those indifferent forces, gravity that does not care, mass that does not think, motion that does not feel, have shaped the conditions that allowed oceans to persist for billions of years, atmospheres to stabilize against solar wind, continents to drift and reconfigure, chemistry to complexify, molecules to replicate, cells to evolve, consciousness to emerge, life to become aware of itself, to look up and ask why. We are not safe because the universe is kind. We are stable because the equations, by pure chance, happened to balance. Like a boulder perched on a mountaintop, perfectly still, not because it wants to be, but because, for this moment, the forces cancel out. Jupiter's gravity is not a wall. Walls block. Walls stand still. Jupiter's gravity is a dynamic field. Right now, it is bending the trajectory of comet Encke. Right now, it is stabilizing the orbit of Trojan asteroids. Right now, it is pulling on Saturn, Saturn is pulling back, and that mutual tug keeps both planets from drifting. Continuously, ceaselessly, automatically. Sometimes it absorbs destruction, sometimes it redirects it, sometimes it amplifies it. But over billions of years, the statistical result has been survivable. Not perfect, not peaceful, not safe, survivable. Barely. And that distinction, that narrow margin, is everything. Without Jupiter, Earth might have been safer, or it might have been destroyed in the first billion years. Without Jupiter, the asteroid belt might have coalesced into another planet, or scattered entirely. Without Jupiter, Mars might have captured enough mass to hold an atmosphere, or it might never have formed at all. We cannot rewind the universe to test the alternative. We only know one outcome. This one. The one where Jupiter exists, and we exist to observe it. We only know the architecture we inhabit, a system where a star that failed to ignite became a giant that succeeded in protecting. A giant that cannot think became an architect that shapes worlds. An architect that has no intent became the reason life had time. Time to begin, time to evolve, time to look up, time to ask, why are we here? And the answer, at least in part, is Jupiter. But survival in cosmic terms is never permanent. Jupiter will continue to orbit. The Sun will continue to evolve. Orbits will continue to shift. The negotiation continues. What feels eternal is only temporarily balanced. And that is the quiet truth. That balance I mentioned at the beginning, protector and threat, here's what it means. Jupiter's gravity pulls objects toward itself. Asteroids, comets, debris, thousands of them that would have been on a path toward Earth. It catches them. That's the protection. But Jupiter doesn't absorb everything. It redirects. And when you redirect something with that much gravitational force, and now has lasted 4.5 billion years, long enough for oceans, long enough for life, long enough for you to stand on a planet you've never left and learn about a planet you've never stood on. The planet that, without knowing, without caring, without trying, kept you alive. You don't always control where it goes next. Sometimes those objects are flung outward safely into deep space. Sometimes they're sent inward toward the inner solar system, toward us. Jupiter is not making decisions. It's not choosing what to block and what to allow through. It's following physics. And physics doesn't care which direction the threat goes, only that momentum is conserved. The same force that has shielded Earth for billions of years could just as easily become the mechanism that ends it. You are alive because of Jupiter. Not because it chose to protect you, but because the math happened to work out. For now. That's not destiny. That's not design. That's just gravity. And gravity doesn't take sides.